and Cam, I haven't talked to Cam in a long time, but knowing Cam, he wants to talk Aiyuk.
I'm sure.
Here he is, one and only Cam Inman. How are you today, Cam?
I'm doing outstanding. How are you guys?
Good. It's been a long time. It's Whitey. It's nice to catch up with you. Yeah. We're just joking about this Aiyuk thing. Round and round in circles we go. Let me just ask you this. As far as we know, based on your reporting, is every possible outcome still on the board between the Niners and Aiyuk?
I know. Isn't that great? Like, you can say whatever you want and you're going to be right until you're proven otherwise. I mean, like 2 weeks ago, it was, all right, he's narrowed it down to Pittsburgh or the Niners, right? And then I had heard that the Niners offer was more than Pittsburgh, but I mean, you hear so much and it constantly changes because they're in negotiations. It basically comes down to this. What's the deadline? And the deadline really is week 1 of the NFL season. We learned that last year with Nick Bosa. Because Aiyuk's really key for this offense for Brock Purdy. So they want to keep him. And I'm pretty sure he wants to stay. I mean, just the way, look how he was out of practice, not this past week, but the week before, really seemed he was invested in the team. So, I mean, I think it's basically, it's just hardcore business, and everybody's just trying to have leverage and, until there's no more time to do so, and you just got to get in and they control his rights, and it's not like they're going to let him go for nothing. We've learned that. So could it be resolved any second? Sure. Could it go on another week or two? I guess so.
Hey, Cam, it's Drapes here, man. What would you say about the Trent Williams situation? Throughout the camp, everybody's been like, it'll get done. You still believe that? And when is we hit the panic button, if you will, regarding these two guys?
Yeah, the week 1 is the panic button. But I think from what I understand is, it's a contractual thing with Trent. I was more fearful that it was a retirement thing, and all indications are it's not. But he's been training in Houston at his gym, and he just doesn't want to get in for training camp. And it's understandable. He's going into his 16th year. He knows this offense. He doesn't have to be there for the installation of certain plays. He knows what to do, and he's going to be in pretty good shape. So it's a matter of, giving him more guaranteed money. They're prepared to do so. I mean, talk about a guy with leverage. He's a 3-time reigning All-Pro left tackle. I mean, he can hold out and really make them pay up if he wants to. But I think he's kind of more of he's a guy that wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants to win a Super Bowl and get in the Hall of Fame. And, he's a perennial Pro Bowler. And I think a Super Bowl would put him over the top because he's obviously the best left tackle in the game right now. So I don't get a sense that there's panic, that there's nothing going to happen, that it's just going to get done. And here's, him missing every preseason game has cost him $1 million. That's not something that the Niners can forgive. It's part of the NFL's rules of their collective bargaining agency. Or the agreement. So this whole holdout has cost him in total about $4 million for this month. And I guess that'll get taken care of on the back end of whatever contract he signs, but that's no small money. And it's something that he's willing to do to avoid being here. And then here's another thing is, so Tuesday is when they have to have the 53-man roster reveal. Mm-hmm. And right now, Trent Williams does not count against that because he's on the reserve did not report list. So if I'm the 49ers, I'm saying, hey, we're going to take care of you after Tuesday because maybe we want to sneak another guy onto the 53. And then once you report on Tuesday or whatever next week, then we'll, make that transaction. I mean, that's just there's always like so many business things with the NFL I can't totally wrap my head around, but I think that's one thing that could work out.
Cam Inman with us, 49er Insider, and of course the Niners conclude the preseason tonight against the Raiders. You can hear that game here on Sactown Sports. Cam, other than, not getting hurt, what do you think the priority is for Kyle Shanahan? Is there a player or two that they'll actually be watching tonight?
There'll be a lot of guys I got to watch in terms of, it's a 90-man roster right now, right? And then you're going to have about 17 guys on the practice squad. So, and then you probably have about 5 guys or so that are going to injured reserve. So there's going to be about 15 people that are going to lose their jobs. But you got to figure out which of those 15 might fit better on a practice squad as opposed to somebody else, because this is a team that's loaded. It's not like there was a bunch of open starting spots when the whole off-season program began or when training camp began. So it's more about kind of like looking in like deep down the depth chart, or what numbers are you thin at because of injuries, maybe at wide receiver or cornerback. And you kind of like just kind of like a little bit more scrutiny on that. Maybe you have these young linebackers and say, are they better than some of the holdovers that have kind of been fringe roster guys anyhow, practice squad guys. Those are the kind of decisions that you can use the preseason for. But like you said, it comes down to health and injury. So you just hope a lot of guys don't get hurt in a game like this, because you don't want to have to redo your depth chart and your roster makeup just because of this meaningless game.
Hey, Cam, how concerned should Niners fans be about Ricky Pearsall in this injury situation?
Can I just say before you answer, Cam, if I may, just so you know, Drapes is a huge Eagle
Why
fan.
you got to always throw that in there?
Because he should know that you're laying these traps for him.
No, I'm not. I want to know the latest. I want to hear if Cam got any information.
I just think Cam should know. That's all. That's all.
I can fire back and say, are you still an Eagles fan after last year's collapse?
Oh, yeah. Dude, our moves we made, my boy Howie Rosen getting it done out there in Philly, the moves we made.
I'll tell you, when the Niners were back there in November, and that was quite an electric atmosphere until drunk Eagle fan bangs on the press box window, and the window opens up. He's ready to jump in the press box. Myself and Matt Mayoka, we had to slam that window shut, and we look at the Philly people and they're like, yeah, no big deal. We're like, dude. Anyhow, by the end of that fourth quarter, that fan was trudging away dejected because Niners are taking
tough loss. Yeah, tough loss.
Right. So Ricky Pearsall, your first-round draft pick, right? So Ricky only practiced for about a week of training camp because he started late with a hamstring strain from the off-season workouts. And then he aggravated a shoulder injury he had back in the spring. So that's a red flag. And you're like, well, that's not great. Your first-round pick. It's not like the Niners' offense is pretty complex where you don't – and no matter what, it's really hard for a rookie wide receiver to really dominate his first year, especially when you have – an Aiyuk, a Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, McCaffrey, Kittle. You don't need a lot of that of Ricky Pearsall, but you do need him healthy. And is it a big problematic injury? I don't think so, just judging by the body language I see on the practice field of him working out and training on the side where he's running. It's not like he's in a harness where he can't move his shoulder. In fact, the other day he was playing catch, throwing a football with somebody. So I know the right shoulder looks pretty good. And the fact that he's able to catch a ball just playing catch on the side with somebody, like very loose, wasn't like with a quarterback, but I'm like, it doesn't look like his shoulder movements are impinged, which that's a great sign. And everything that the 49ers have said, it doesn't signal like, but they're secretly going to put this guy on IR for his rookie year. I don't get that at all. So I would expect Ricky Pearsall to be on the 53-man roster. Do I expect him to play week one? Probably not, unless Aiyuk's not there and they need everybody to Cam.
Cam, would stopping the run better be the one thing that the one area in which they have to improve this year? And if they are going to be better than last year, where else might that improvement come from?
Well, part of that is stopping the run because they didn't do great in the playoffs with it. They did well enough, but I mean, they've really redone a lot of their defensive front, like more than people realize, because they're going to have 3 of the 4 new starters on the defensive front next to Bosa, with Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins. Well, you have Hargrave back, but you have a couple new guys there on the front, and then you don't have Dre Greenlaw at linebacker next to Fred. So there's going to be some adjustments defensively, but yeah, I guess if you want the old football axiom, it starts with stopping the run. That's true, but the Niners need to get after the quarterback more. I mean, I'm concerned more with the defensive ends because Bosa's great. I mean, he's like the ultimate pro, but he fell off a little bit last year where he was consistent. He was consistently really good, but he needs to be consistently great and have that multiple sack game, because he's getting paid as the highest paid defender in the league. But he also needs better help next to him. And they brought in Leonard Floyd, who has a kind of a leaner body, like the way Aldon Smith was. So it's not like this big, powerful, huge guy on the other side, but he's pretty lengthy and productive and reliable. And then you have a different look on the interior without, your Sacramento guy, Eric Armstead's not there for the first time in almost a decade. And so, but they bring in Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott, who are kind of like smaller plugger guys. So that's going to help your run defense. And whether that translates to getting after the quarterback, we're going to find out on Monday night, September 9th, when Aaron Rodgers is going to be trying to gun long balls down the sideline at the Amador Lenore and whatever guys are playing safety.
Cam, we appreciate you making time for us. We know you're working tonight. Great catching up with you. Enjoy the game, if such a thing is possible, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks much. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, Cam Inman. He will have none of your Philadelphia blasphemy.
You can tell he wears the Niner underoos, his little onesie at night. That's all right, though.
Well, snap in the middle.
Yeah, snap in the middle. Exactly, Jay.
We got Drape's takes coming up also. To win more games this year, the Kings Your Sacramento Kings must be better